Yo. Yo. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhyme that are coming from my mind.
Willis Reed is on my list.
Okay, let's go.
I think for diehard NBA fans, you know about the Willis Reed game, quote unquote, where he gets 2 cc's of cortisone and comes out and plays basically with one leg. He's literally limping around. And it looks so wild because like they're wearing these weird jerseys with like the collar comes all the way down to show like cleavage, and he definitely is wearing like a long necklace while he's playing. And like he only scores like 4 points in that game. So, but it's the first like 4 points.
Those are the 2 famous jump shots he hits. Go ahead. I'm sorry, not to
correct.
cut you.
Over Wilt and a really really good Lakers team. But if you saw that footage, you know, he looks really like ginger and hurt, but that's all kind of people know about him. And I think exactly as you were talking about, especially because of his broadcasting career now, and that he's like been in the public eye forever, Walt Frazier has kind of become sort of the face of that team, that Knicks era, especially because, like I said, he's still famous. Still walking, people still talk about him, the whole suits, broadcasting. But Willis was the heart and soul of that team. A lot of that too is like as you just stated, players didn't play as long. Like, this is still an era where a lot of players still had other jobs. Like being an NBA player wasn't like the whole thing. Like, so he played only 10 years, which is still a long time. But for like great players, we're thinking a minimum of 12, 15 years and having like 10 All-Stars. But he only plays 10. And he, of those 10, 7 times he's an All-Star. But he's a Finals MVP twice and a League MVP once. He was Rookie of the Year. Out of the 10 years he played, half of those he's a top 5 player. At his 5-year best, he was 21 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 assists, and shot 50% from the field. And like I said, won 2 championships in 10 years. Where the league, because it was so few teams, as you pointed out, it was pretty stacked teams. So it was a lot, and they rode him. It's probably why the reason that his career wasn't as long as it probably would have been. But yeah, no, a really really good player that mostly gets remembered for that one game instead of the body of his career.
Yeah, no, great point. One thing too to point out about Willis is, you know, in today's NBA, he is a maybe a power forward, and could just about his height. Might be, you know, guarding some threes in certain situations. Only 6'9", but to your point, he averages 14 rebounds a game at that height against like monsters of the fucking NBA. Against Will, he sees Kareem, he sees just some of the monsters of the game, other great players, and here he is just outworking the majority of guys that he's facing. I think to his credit. And to your point about him being the heart and soul of the team, what's really important about those 2 jump shots, I don't even know if he plays really the rest of the game after those 2 jump shots. I thought, and I could be wrong, after he hits those shots, he comes out shortly after and doesn't really play anymore. But those are those 2 plays are essentially what galvanizes the rest of that Knicks team, essentially sobers up Phil Jackson, and is what propels them to win that championship. And he wins the Finals MVP that year, essentially not playing the final game, you know, the majority of the final game, hitting those 2 jump shots and kind of just bouncing. So I think that's a great call out, a historic score. I mean, yeah, look at Wilt 7'1", Kareem 7'2", and here's this 6'9", just outworking them. So yeah, that's a great point. He is the best player on that Knicks team for sure, with Walt Frazier being the famous one. So I think that's a great call out, a great point to make, because what Walt still is, he's aged well and is, still a broadcaster on the Knicks. But and you know what, probably even to do a quick callback, probably one of the reasons why Walt is saying that about MJ at that time is because, yeah, he just played with Willis and he knows, yeah, you need a great big man if you're going to win.
Yo, yo. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhymes that are coming from my mind. Used to come in